of Umokoro, where everyone knew everyone and secrets never stayed buried for long, lived two sisters, Obianuju and Chisom. They were not the kind of girls people admired or praised. In fact, most villagers never even called them by their names. They were simply known as those two ugly girls. Obianuju, the older one, was tall and bony, with skin darkened unevenly by years of walking under the sun. Chisom, a little shorter, had a flat nose, crooked teeth, and eyes that never seemed to look in the same direction. The town was unkind, especially to girls like them, girls who didn't fit the narrow mold of what people called beautiful. Children mocked them, laughing and pointing them whenever they passed, adults avoided them, and suitors wouldn't even come near their compound. But Obianuju and Chisom were not ones to hide. They called themselves the iconic sisters and walked through Umokoro with boldness that irritated everyone. They wore heavy makeup, foundation 5 shades lighter than their skin, thick red lipstick that smeared at the corners, and eyelashes that looked like feathers stuck to their lids. Their clothes were flashy, often mismatched, but they wore them with confidence that almost looked like defiance. Just to feel among and for the villagers to notice their beauty. But no matter what makeup they wear, the villagers still see them as the ugliest girls in the village. "See them," Mama Ebra would hiss as they passed by. "Looking like masquerades and still walking like queens." Obianuju and Chisom didn't care. Or at least, they acted like they didn't. They walked across the market as if they were the princesses of the land. Obianuju and Chisom were so troublesome, always in everybody's business. They put themselves in conversations that didn't concern them and argued with anyone bold enough to throw shade. But beneath the loudness, the makeup, and the insults they threw back at the world, the sisters carried a quiet sadness. What people didn't see were the evenings they sat in their small room, wiping off their makeup in silence. Or the way Chisom would look at herself in the mirror and then look away quickly. Or the times Obianuju stayed up late, pretending to be busy, just so Chisom wouldn't hear her crying. They weren't naturally troublesome. They weren't wicked. They were just two girls who had learned to wear armor made of attitude. Life in Umokoro had never given them a chance to be soft. Their mother, before she passed, used to say, "Beauty is not in the face, my daughters, but in the heart." But the world didn't see their hearts, it only saw what was on the surface and judged them without mercy. Sometimes, the words people threw at them cut deeper than they let on. One day, at the market, as they walked with their bold makeup and colorful dresses, they came across some maidens who laughed at them. "Even evil spirits go fear these ones," one of the maidens said. They all laughed at them as they passed when they thought the girls couldn't hear. They heard. They always heard. Even the men of the village refused to marry them, they will always throw shade at them, "Who will marry these ones?" Some other men will say even if they dash them for free, they won't collect. Still, they showed up, loud, bold, and unapologetic, but the weight was getting heavier. One evening, after a particularly cruel day filled with laughter behind their backs and whispers that followed them like shadows, the sisters sat outside under the old guava tree behind their house. "I dey try, Uju," Chisom said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I no sure say I fit continue like this." Obianuju didn't answer immediately. She stared into the sky, the fireflies dancing in the distance. "I know," she finally said. "Me too." And that was when they decided they would do something different. Something unexpected. Something out of the ordinary. They didn't know exactly what yet. But they knew one thing: they were tired of pretending. Tired of fighting to be accepted and tired of wearing a mask just to survive each day.